Thank you. Firstly, thank you very much for accepting my invitation and accepting to be on my show.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
So I've gone through your profile. I came to know that you're a full-time research uh, engineer. So I thought to tell about the work that you're doing to my audience.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Nourchene Ferchichi, and I'm from Tunisia. And I work as a research engineer, and I have a 2-year experience in a Tunisian startup. And mainly, I work in the field of artificial intelligence, AI. And I've been working on different projects related to natural language processing, NLP, and automatic speech recognition, ASR. And so in this field, the main reason why we work in this field is to make robots a little bit intelligent, or by making them able to mimic human actions, like, for example, understanding our language.
Awesome. So what is your education background?
I have actually a mathematical background, so I have a master's degree in the field of applied mathematics. And in my last year of study, I specialized in the field of data science and artificial intelligence.
Okay, so I did masters in software engineering and I did a graduation in computer science engineering. So I have the tech background, but uh, you have this mathematics background and and you did data science and you have that. Now you are into AI, which is completely understanding the human emotions, feelings, thoughts, and trying to put in the feelingless machine. So how is this? How you are able to do this? And what motivated you? What inspired you to come into this AI?
Yeah, so AI is a very large field, and actually, to be able to work in it, you mainly have to have a different backgrounds. It could be mathematics, it could be probabilistic and statistics. It could also be a software background, like what you are studying. And yeah, so how I ended in this field, I ended by doing some research about it, by seeing a lot of YouTube videos about this amazing field. And I thought maybe from my background, I could be using math in order to add something in this field. And actually, yeah, AI is based on a lot of mathematics. So the math really helped me to get introduced in this field. And I got my first internship in this field of data science, where I started applying it. And I started mastering parts of the software by learning new programming languages. And I think the mixture of both math and programming makes this field really interesting to work on.
So you said presently you are working on two different tools. What are those?
Natural language processing, the first one, NLP, where we want to make the machines learn or understand the text. And so the input is the text, and the output would be, for example, answering a question in a written way using any language. It could be English, Arabic, or French. And also, it could be a task of translation, uh, getting as an input a text in English and trying to translate it into Arabic, for example. And there's also sentiment analysis, where you say or you write a comment on YouTube channel, for example, and you want to know if this comment is actually a positive one or a negative one. So there's a lot of tasks that we can use in the NLP field. And the second one that I talked about is the ASR, or the automatic speech recognition. And here the input is actually a speech. So you're going to say a sentence, and from this sentence, we want to transform this audio file into a text. And this looks like Siri applications, or voice detection applications. And we can see today a lot of those applications. Like I said, even in very intelligent cars, we can have the automatic recognition voices.
So how many days? I mean, from tell me your experience from how many years or how many months you are into this two different tools, working on two different tools.
So I started, as I said, an internship of 4 months on NLP, and from there I got my first job in the same startup I had my internship, and I had more than a year of experience in NLP, and then I started ASR. And both of the fields are really related to each other, and you can learn from one techniques, and you could apply the techniques that you learned from one field and apply it to another. So they are very complementary, and you can actually work on a project that contains both. So my merge, let's say, to ASR was really facilitated by the fact that I already worked on NLP, and I worked, let's say, on half a year on ASR, and now I working on a project that uses both technologies.
So, what are the errors that you get commonly when you use the first tool? That you give input as text and output, you get output as voice, speech.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
The common errors that you have faced when you're giving the input as text and getting output as speech.
Um, okay, errors. So I would rather speak about, like, say, challenges, because most of the errors you got are coming from the language you are using. So you know that for each language, you could have its specific grammar, its specific way or of pronouncing them, and even in the same language, you could have different pronunciation. For example, in India, we could speak words differently from a native English speaker. So those difficulties could make it very difficult for your model to understand this. So in order to work in for example, NLP for Arabic, you should at least have minimum background of the Arabic language, the way we are writing it, and so that when you see the output of your model, you can know, apart from the accuracy that you are using, where it is actually making the errors, and from that you can know how you can improve your model to get a better performance. So most of the errors could be coming from the fact that you don't really know the language you are working on.
Is it important for you to know the programming languages or to know coding in order to make this happen, input and output?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Although you don't necessarily can start with a solid background on this programming language, but you can at least have the basics on this, the language you're using. And from then you can learn by programming and coding more and more. So the major programming language I use is Python. And I started having a basic knowledge on this language, programming language, by having out Coursera courses or any other courses, or Udacity courses, or elsewhere, and trying to try to have some competitions, online competitions, so I can compare my code to other competitors' code. And by joining internships and startup companies, you can learn more and improve yourself in this programming field.
So you said you're using three different languages, Arabic, English, and another one.
I actually speak three languages: Arabic, French, and English. And but for the Arabic, there are like, let's say, different kind of Arabic. There's the standard Arabic, the one that we use in formal writings, and there are also dialects that are different from a region to another. So there's the Tunisian dialect, the Egyptian dialect, the Moroccan dialect, that are derived from the standard Arabic, but some words differ from a region to another. And when you speak formal Arabic, you are able to actually understand different dialects if you really put a little bit of effort on that.
So is this a software?
And not really. It's just the language that we are using as humans.
Okay. The presently you're working on a project. Is that a software?
It's a mixture, let's say, between it's software, let's say, yeah.
Okay. So can that software able to understand if the person for suppose puts some wrong words, wrong spelling?
Yeah, because it should be trained on a correct format, in a correct written text, so that it learns the correct way of writing words. And from learning on a big data, it could actually distinguish the good writing forms or the spelling of words from the words that are not well spelled.
The second tool that you said, which one is input is vocal sound, and output is text, right? So not everybody speaks in the same with the same voice. So how can that detect how accurate it will be?
Okay, yeah, it's a very good question actually, because it depends on the data that you will be using. So if you use a data for English native speakers that are males only, it would be difficult for the model to understand female voices, speakers, or Indian speakers speaking English. So it really depends on the data. So the more the data is varied, the more it contains different ways of speaking from different regions with a different aging, also from children to aging person. It would be more easy for the model to generalize for different speakers.
How accurate the software that you're working is?
Actually, it's giving pretty good results. It's the accuracy that we are using is the word error rate. That means how much errors it is getting mistaken in. And we are up to 5%, which is for 100 error of 100 words, it only get mistakes on 5.
So suppose if a non-human a non-human speech or text is giving coming as an input, how do your software responds?
Actually, it would respond the same because it really depends on the quality of the data. So if the robot is speaking with a really good quality without background noise, not really speaking very fast and speaking with a clear voice, it would not do a difference between a human speaking or a robot speaking.
Can your software able to understand the emotion?
At this point, no, but it would be very interesting to add this, yeah.
So the second one, so where you are up to, how much your robot or the machine or the AI that you're working on can understand?
In Arabic?
In yeah.
Yeah, it's doing pretty good.
So how your mathematics is helping you in doing this AI?
I think the most part is when you try to read from research papers and try to understand the mathematic backgrounds of how they created the models. So if you are able to understand this background, you are able to create a good model, to modify it, and to understand why it's not doing good and how you can change the functions that you are defining in order to create a better model.
So I have some general questions regarding AI. So intelligence and artificial intelligence. So can you tell the difference?
Intelligence is a very large word. Let's say there are different kind of intelligence. You can be emotionally intelligent. That means when you see that someone is sad without telling you he's actually sad, you show empathy for him. And it could be also mathematical intelligence. It could be intelligence at your finance, someone who is good at managing his finances. And artificial intelligence is when you are trying to make the robots understand or try to mimic our human intelligence. And so it's one related to humans and the other is related to robots. But I think you can teach robots whatever you want if you have enough resources and enough data.
So I have a question for you. Recently, I don't know whether you have heard this or not, from one of the top richest people on this planet is Elon Musk said that AI is going AI if you don't handle properly with AI, that is going to be very dangerous than nukes, which is going to be very dangerous. So how you see as a research student, as a research engineer, how you see on this?
I think we should all be careful when using AI, because if we are inputting something or creating something new, we should take into consideration a lot of input, as the fact of the safety of humans around us, and also the data that we are using, is it publicly available? Are we allowed to use this data or not? If this data is instating, for example, for racism or for any bad thing, or so we need to be careful when creating our models and when using the data. So it really depends on the person that is doing the job, and he has to have always this background thoughts when he's doing his work.
So what is the greatest AI that human created till today?
I think there is a human, the Arabian Saudite one. I don't remember its name, but it's really intelligent. It's a human robot, a woman that's able to connect with people, to detect their emotions and to know if they're happy. And it's also able to make jokes and to laugh at your jokes. So it's really funny. I really saw a lot of videos of her having direct discussions with humans, and it was really doing well.
I think you're telling about Sophia.
Yeah, exactly, Sophia. This one, yeah.
Okay. So as a researcher, what do you think that human need to put in his mind when he's using AI, the security things?
Yes, like I said, the security thing of using data. So there's a lot of data that is available online, but not of it is well structured in a way that we can use it in feed it into our model. So when doing the collection of the data, we need to be mindful about which data we are collecting, how we are collecting it, and if we are doing cleaning in the data, we need to make sure that we are doing it in a right way.
So there are a lot of YouTube channels, there are a lot of websites, there is a lot of data has been being generated these days, and a lot of data centers is like filling up, servers are filling up. So with your knowledge, with your research knowledge, what do you say? What do you say that has to be done using AI so that the energy, that storage capacity that we have, the servers, the manpower, how we can able to use this in an effective way, efficient and effective way?
Yeah, I think that a lot of data is being stored each second from all over the world, either YouTube videos or a lot of websites. They are inputting text also, and comments from Facebook each second. So I think they are already being stored. So an efficient way to use it is to make from them products that are useful for humans, and that makes our life easier and make some tasks more automatic, to be able to make sure that the tasks are being done, and to maybe concentrate on other tasks that are still not are able to be done by machines.
So what do you think that has to be done, major which industry is getting benefit more because of this AI in the world?
Mm, well, that's a really big question. I think that I'm seeing a lot of cars that are, let's say, um, self-driving cars. And I think that this would help us, let's say, make the driving an easy task for everyone. Also, I think that automatic, let's say, assistant vocal assistants are also making our life easier. So yeah, those are the two examples that I have in mind right now.
So what is the ultimate goal of AI?
Making our life easier.
Making human physical and mental effort
Yeah, less.
reducing.
Yeah.
So, so I think you are into AI from long time,
2 years. 2 years.
2 years. So do you understand human psychology?
Oh, psychology, not really. I didn't get into this field. No.
Is that important in AI?
I think partially, yeah. It could be a benefit. It could be a plus, yeah. It could be a plus if you have this psychology gang to use to improve. Yeah, I think it could be a good idea. Yeah.
So what actually made you to come into AI? You want to create something which has not existed before?
Yeah, I wanted to add something and to make things that does not exist or things that used to be like science fiction into reality.
So what if you design your own robot that can do anything that you're doing? So what are the things that you give to that robot?
I think communicating with humans easily, like using like everyday's language, not necessarily standard languages.
So you're dealing with expressing ways. One is expressing one expressing way is vocal cord, and another way is typing text.
Mhm.
So which one is more effective when it comes to AI?
Um, I think that ISR is getting more and more effective because even typing takes energy. So when we are sometimes driving, we are sometimes cooking, and we want other tasks to be done, and we don't necessarily have our hands free. So it's better to use our voice in order to have tasks being done.
So what if AI becomes more useful thing for a human being? What about the people who are dependent on this? They might lose their jobs because of automation.
I don't really think so. I think that it's maybe the opposite because we are creating new jobs. I think research engineers in AI didn't exist before. So or data analysis or data collector did not exist before. But I think we are creating new jobs instead of removing old ones and maybe making the old ones transform into a new ones that are more efficient.
So if we start communicating with AIs, I think we don't need human beings to communicate because we'll get habituated with that.
I think we are not at this stage yet, but we are getting a little bit close, but not in the coming years. It's my personal opinion.
Do you know about singular state?
Not really. Tell me more about it.
Singular state is something the AI if it reaches to the maximum level.
Okay.
That is the last level.
Okay. Didn't know about it.
So I think if we are a ant, uh, it is very big thing. This human cannot control the big AI in the world, and it will not be in humans' control. That is what that level is, that state.
Very interesting, actually. Yeah.
So recently there is a discussion happened between Elon Musk and Jack Ma. So Jack Ma was telling that I AI is very important, and we need to work on it for the benefit of this planet and for the development of for the mankind. At the same time, we should create more jobs using this. So that was his uh, uh, he was telling this, and Elon Musk is saying that he's completely saying opposite. AI, we should be very careful with AI. And another person who died, I don't remember his name. He also warned human that be careful with AI. So as a research student, you're working on it. You're seeing AI from long time, and you know how to express with a machine and how machine is expressing to you. So what do you say about this?
I think a mixture of both. we should always be careful using AI, but in the same way, I think it's doing really benefit or adding benefits to this planet. So we can do both, getting into AI, working hard into making progress in this world, and making sure that we are only doing positive things and staying away from the negative ones.
So can I say invisible thing is AI?
What do you mean exactly? How?
What is software?
Software?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the ability to understand the machine or to communicate with the machine.
Machine is hardware.
Yeah, yes,
So so every software needs hardware.
absolutely, yeah.
So where that software came? Can I say our mind is our software?
What do you mean? Could you repeat that?
Our mind is software is something that will do calculations and analysis and logical things. If that is called as software, can I say my mind is my software
Yeah, in certain point of view, yes, yeah.
and my body is my hardware, which is making my software run?
Yep, yeah. A good comparison, yeah.
Okay, so what is your ultimate goal in AI? What you want to become and what you want to do for uh, uh,
I would like to continue in this field and be able, in the current position that I have, to elaborate more and to get more input and output from this field.
and also you are very passionate about workouts. So can you tell more about it?
Passionate about what?
Workout, you do physical exercise.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's let's say my leisure activity that I do apart from my full-time jobs. Yeah, I do a lot. I do a lot of exercise, physical exercise, as you say. So it's, as you said, training my machines and training my body at the same level.
Okay, so you're good in both.
Yeah, I think we should all have those both sides. I mean, like you are a software student, and at the same time, you have this hobby of doing those kind of interviews with people from all over the world. So it's like it's your leisure activity that could obviously one day turn into maybe your full-time job, but you are doing those two things in a parallel, very interesting way.
So are you a good communicator?
Tell me, I've been talking with you for 30 minutes, I guess. What do you think?
Yeah,
What's your input about that?
yeah, you are a good communicator. But what do you think?
I think, yeah, I'm doing my best, but I think we could always be or improve ourselves in any field. So I'm quite good, but I can still improve in this way. But I think that part of our jobs as research engineers or engineers at the same time, we should be good communicators because we are not only speaking with machines, we need to communicate the results to our teammates and even doing presentation or for clients or going for conferences to demonstrate your work to the whole world, let's say. So communication is very important in this field.
Are you able to establish communication with completely a random person on internet? If that is mandatory for you?
Uh, let's say not mandatory, but if I have common subject, let's say either in the professional subjects or even like a training related subjects, I could be able to communicate with him because it's interesting for me to know more about this person, and so I would think that the flow will go fast and we will have many things to share and to discuss.
And last question is how fast the AI should be.
How fast? I think that we are actually not deciding this. It's going already very fast, and each day we have very new research papers that are coming and new apps that are showing up. So it's not really up to us. It's really very fast, and we are running after this fast progression in AI.
We are running behind AI, or AI running behind us.
We are running behind AI.
So I want a human to control AI. Uh, so like people like you who are working on this will be
Yeah.
can able to do that better. So what do you say about my work as a research student, me communicating with different country people who are into different professions, who have completely different backgrounds? Have you seen any videos of mine on YouTube? And what do you think? What do you
Yeah.
think about my communication skills in this video? At the same time, tell me how this is going to help me in my technical field, if I'm going to work for a company, or I'm going to be in a technical field.
Yeah, so a lot of questions to answer. So let's start by the first one. Hope I don't forget any. So yeah, I've seen a lot of your YouTube videos, and I went through a lot of them, not completely, but at least I've seen a lot of chunks from them, either on your YouTube video or your Instagram. And I really like the idea. I think that it's different. I don't think that I have saw this elsewhere. And what I like about it is that you are taking people from different places, countries, different cultures, and they are also taking different positions. I've seen not only tech company people, I saw also poets, also book writers, CEOs, which is very interesting. And I like this diversity and this variety of the people that you are talking to. And what's I think that this is very interesting, not only for the viewers, but also for you, because you will get the opportunity to talk to have this open mindset, to talk with different people, to know what they are actually doing in their job, to communicate with them, to get better at communication skills. Because as you said, it's not really easy to talk with people that you don't know, especially in the professional way. And this could potentially help you for your communication and even for professionally. So maybe you are not let's say you're not still clear about what job you would like to continue on, and this will help you to clarify this idea.
So what I understood is, in order to understand the programming languages which is created by human, I want to understand the communication medium between human beings. If I'm able to communicate and establish connection between me and the people who are into different parts of the world, who are into different professions, who are into different age groups. If I can able to do this, I think I'm able to establish connection with computer better and create the great connection between the computer and human being. So I think I'm doing something that is very close to your profession.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that having internet now is making it very or easier, let's say. So you have this kind of free platform that you can communicate with, and you can access to anyone from anywhere in the place. And we have a lot of kind people that. So I don't think that if you would ask someone, let's chat about this technology, he would say no. So it's good to have very open-minded people around the world, so you can so they share their knowledge with you, and you share also your knowledge with them. Because I believe that I have already learned a lot from you. So this is like a win-win situation for both the interviewer and the interviewee, to learn from this experience, from other interviews, and from also this interview. And yeah, this is also a question that you answered me. You answered me how well you were in terms of communication skills in this video. I think that it was easy to talk to you. I didn't feel like I was stressed, or so you have this ability to make the person you are talking with, let's say, calm. And yeah, your questions also were very interesting. Sorry. So it shows that you have already done the research, so you know the person they are going to talk with. So it's really a good to have this. So yeah, I think that you have a really great communication skills.
I hope one day you are going to create a machine with which a human being can connect and communicate like a human being. Your contribution uh, with this field AI to this planet is going should be and going to be very big because I observed your observing skills and I can understand how vast you are in learning. So I hope you'll continue doing the great work that you're doing and yeah, and I hope you also make not only human beings happy, also the machines happy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I hope too. That would be really good results if we come to that. Yeah,
So can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Can I put this video and audio clip on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me your valuable time. And can I put, do you have any website links or social media links that you want me to share with my audience?
I think you have already my LinkedIn and my Instagram, so all is good.
Yeah, I'll share. Thank you again.
Thank you. Have a nice afternoon. Bye bye.
Bye.